As Katseye's popularity soars, landing major brand deals and reaching millions of listeners, fans are curious about the members' wealth, more specifically, how much they had before debut, how much they've earned since rising to fame, and of course, who is the richest member. When it comes to the members, Yoonchae is the only one whose background remains unclear, and because so little is known, it's impossible to tell if she grew up in a well-off family or had a more ordinary upbringing. Looking at everything though, it seems like the latter is more likely. Before Yoonchae was born, her mother worked as a musical actress, though nothing has been revealed about her father's profession. What is known, however, is that Yoonchae was already chasing the K-pop path before Dream Academy. Back in 2020, she passed an audition at CJE&M and trained there for 2 years before entering the survival program. For some, this suggested that her family was at least financially stable, maybe even upper middle class, since her parents allowed her to dedicate herself to idol training rather than pushing her toward a more conventional career. People also assume her parents invested in lessons to help her prepare for the industry, although that part hasn't been confirmed. Regardless of whether her background was wealthy or not, Yoonchae is clearly standing on her own now. Katseye have built an impressive reputation in just a year, performing at high-profile events like Lollapalooza, the VMAs, and even the Grammy Museum. They're also set to appear at Coachella, return to Lollapalooza, and head out on their first tour. With all of these opportunities lined up, it's safe to say Yoonchae is earning more than enough through her career today. Manon's background also remains one of the most unclear. Growing up in Switzerland, a country known for its high cost of living, many people quickly assumed she came from a wealthy family, but there's no actual proof of that. Her frequent travels, often showcased on her Instagram highlights, also led to speculation about her financial status, though nothing concrete has ever been confirmed. The only real glimpse into her possible wealth came through the Netflix documentary, which showed her staying at her aunt's house in Los Angeles after leaving the dorms. The house looked large, complete with a pool, and clearly would not be cheap to maintain, but even that detail doesn't really reveal how much money Manon's own family might have. Before joining Katseye, she was already working as a model and influencer, even appearing in other artists' music videos, which suggests that she began supporting herself at a relatively young age. So while her exact background remains uncertain, it seems clear that she found a way to be financially independent early on. Daniela's personal background isn't something the public knows much about, but her career before Katseye shows just how active she was from a young age. In 2016, she competed on season 13 of So You Think You Can Dance, and finished in 10th place. A few years earlier, she auditioned for America's Got Talent Season 8 with a dance performance, though she was eliminated during the Vegas rounds. She later took part in the international show Super Kids Europe, earning 2nd place, and was also featured on the Queen Latifah show in an America's Most Talented Kids segment. Daniela even appeared in Maddie B's music videos for Dramatic and Lonely. Her work extended into modeling and acting as well, as she filmed 2 Haverty's furniture commercials when she was a child, and in 2021 she played a young dancer in the independent film Georgia Sky. Daniela's love for the arts wasn't limited to dance. At 11, she began posting videos of herself singing and playing the ukulele on social media, showing another side of her creativity. Much of this talent can be traced back to her family. Both of her parents, Ana and Rafael, are professional Latin ballroom dancers and instructors, and they introduced her to the world of dance sport when she was only 3 years old. Her mother achieved history as the first Cuban to win a world ballroom championship, while her father has decades of experience as a performer, teacher, and choreographer. With parents who were already deeply rooted in music and dance, Daniela grew up in an environment that constantly nurtured her passions. Surrounded by encouragement and opportunities, she was able to explore her skills across dance, music, acting, and performance from a very early age. Megan's story feels just as uncertain when it comes to her background, since there's little solid information about her family's situation. What is clear, though, is that her parents were behind her every step of the way. She began dancing at only 4 years old and added singing lessons by the time she was 6. At an age when most kids are still figuring out hobbies, she was already traveling from Honolulu to Los Angeles every weekend so she could train and develop her skills, something that shows how much dedication and family support went into her early journey. During the 2nd episode of Pop Star Academy Katseye, Megan shared just how demanding her routine was before her debut. She explained that she would go to dance class on Fridays, fly back home on Sundays, and still be in school on Mondays. That kind of travel made people assume her family must have been wealthy, since weekly flights aren't cheap. Later, Megan clarified that her father works for an airline, which gave her access to flight benefits and made the trips possible. Even with that detail, her pre-debut career is still impressive. She worked as an actress and even appeared on the Disney show Sydney to the Max. She was also lined up to be part of World of Dance and the Netflix show 13 the Musical, though the latter role ended up going to a younger friend of hers. endeavors. Modeling was another area where she gained experience as she walked the runway at Paris and LA Fashion Week for couture designers and had already done multiple ad campaigns as a child from which some fans later recognized her. Megan's resume didn't stop there. She even ventured into voice acting, voicing a character in the card game The Elder Scrolls, Legends Skyrim, and at one point trained as a J-pop idol, though she never disclosed which company she was under. With all of these experiences, it's likely that Megan began earning money long before her debut, but her career as a KATSEYE member has pushed her into an entirely new league. As the group grows, so will her opportunities and income, making it clear that she's only getting started. Lara's background points to both family wealth and her own early achievements. Her father, Sri Raj, has built a strong career in e-commerce, having worked with major Fortune 500 names like Pepsi, Revlon, Frito-Lay, and Johnson & Johnson. These days, he appears to be connected with General Mills, managing a team of more than 1,000 sales professionals, and he also co-founded the CPG Guys. Her mother, Kavita, has her own impressive career path, having once been a consultant for Universal Music Group before co-founding Mischief Records, a platform that helped launch Lara's sister Rhea. She was also a dancer and now hosts her own podcast along with actor Walid Chaya. Growing up, Lara's parents invested heavily in her creative pursuits. She started voice, dance, and acting lessons as a child and often entered competitions, some of which took her to Los Angeles for auditions and workshops. In Dallas, she won a contest that led her into Septian Entertainment's professional program, and later she moved to New York, where she took on commercials, modeling jobs, musical theater, and acting roles. She even landed a spot on NBC's The Blacklist and was featured in Michelle Obama's Global Girls Alliance campaign. Her portfolio continued to grow as she modeled for Macy's in 2017, co-hosted the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign, and consistently shared her own covers and dance clips on Instagram. She's also performed at several well-known venues, including the American Airlines Center, House of Blues, Hard Rock Cafe, Six Flags, El Portal Theater, Palladium Ballroom, and Symphony Space. With so many projects, it's clear that Lara began earning money at a young age, though it's equally clear that her parents' financial support made much of this possible. The family's wealth is also quite visible outside of Lara's career. In the Pop Star Academy documentary, scenes of Lara preparing for prom showed her living in a large Los Angeles home, which was later seen in TikToks from the Raj family. Her jewelry in those moments only added to the picture, showing that beyond Lara's work, her family's financial status has always been strong enough to back her opportunities. Nobody really knows the exact amount Lara makes as a member of KATSEYE, but whatever it is, it's clearly enough for her to live well on her own without relying on her parents. Outside of group activities, she often shows off luxury items, from a Hiva fur jacket priced at around $15,000 to Marc Jacobs jeans and other designer jackets worth over $1,000. On top of that, her massive Instagram following, which is at 4.6 million at the time this video was made, has brought in extra income through sponsored posts with different brands. Her creativity also adds another layer to her future earnings. She has already written and produced several songs that haven't been released yet, but considering her skill, it's only a matter of time before those tracks or others she works on appear in KATSEYE's albums. Once that happens, she will be earning royalties as well, which means her financial independence is only going to grow. Although there's no official information about the members' finances, everything points to Sophia being among the wealthiest, if not the richest, in the group. Even before her debut, her family background attracted attention in the Philippines, where she is already well known. Her father, Basilio Godfrey La Forteza III, started as a dancer and now works as an executive chef in Manila, with his family involved in the restaurant and hotel industry. Her mother, Carla Guevara La Forteza, has a career as a stage actress and singer, making her respected in the entertainment world even if she isn't a mainstream celebrity. Sophia's family influence doesn't stop there. On her mother's side, politics and business are part of her roots. Her uncle allegedly once served as a congressman and owns multiple businesses across the Philippines, and her grandfather is also recognized and influential in his own right. All of this suggests that Sophia grew up surrounded by both cultural and financial privilege, giving her a background that stands out even before her career took off. To understand Sophia's background, it helps to look at her maternal grandfather, Domingo M. Guevara, a visionary businessman who played a major role in shaping the Philippines' industrial landscape. Born in 1909, Guevara came from modest beginnings, but rose to become a pioneering industrialist, particularly in manufacturing and automotive sectors, driving economic growth and technological progress in the mid-20th century. One of his key contributions was founding Radio Wealth, a company that made radios, televisions, and other appliances affordable for Filipino households, opening access to modern technology while boosting local manufacturing. Later, in 1955, he launched DMG Incorporated, or Diesel Motors of Germany, which by 1959 was assembling Volkswagen vehicles, including the Beetle and Combi. DMG grew rapidly, producing over 6,000 vehicles a year by 1970, becoming the country's top automotive assembler. Guevara's impact extended beyond business. As a delegate to the 1971 Constitutional Convention, he was among only 7 members to oppose the ratification of the 1973 Constitution, which would validate President Ferdinand Marcos's declaration of martial law. This courageous stance came at a cost. Political pressure forced the closure of his companies, including Radio Wealth and the Volkswagen assembly plant. His legacy combines entrepreneurial vision with a commitment to principle, reflecting both innovation and integrity. Building on her family's legacy of success, Sophia didn't just rely on her background, but carved her own path from a young age. Seemingly growing up in privilege, she had access to resources that allowed her to excel academically and artistically. In 2021, she graduated with highest honors from the Multiple Intelligence International School in the Philippines, a school known for its unconventional approach to learning and likely high tuition. Alongside academics, she immersed herself in dance and the performing arts, taking classes in ballet, jazz, musical theater, hip-hop, and tap to nurture her passion for performance. While her family's wealth is evident in photos and videos of their home, Sophia has begun building her own income as well. Though exact figures aren't public, she likely earns from Instagram, sponsored posts, and her role as leader of KATSEYE. The group has already secured partnerships with major brands, specifically from Lush, Pandora, and Glossier to luxury names like Fendi and Coach, as well as more mainstream campaigns with Takis, Monster High, Jollibee, and their viral Gap ad. Even though the girls are just starting their careers, it's easy to imagine them landing more ambassadorships and brand deals individually in the near future. These opportunities will not only grow their fame, but also add significantly to their personal wealth, building on the foundation her family has already provided.